And here we are, welcome back to the channel. The latest video on GT7, and we're looking at the latest time trial to earn you your 2 million credits. So log on to sport mode. From there you can click onto your online time trials. Now we've already done the one at Goodwood Motor Circuit in the Renault Sport Megane. A few days left of that one, so if you haven't checked that one out, that's on the channel. But we're going to concentrate on the brand new one at Catalonia in the Gran Turismo Redbull X2014 Junior car. So we're going to rent this car as we don't own it. Click on the tick, click on the car itself. We're going to choose a red colour. Press OK, and away we go. So for this one, to get you your 2 million credits, you need a lap time of 147.234 to earn you 1 million credits, a lap time of 149.316. And to get you 250,000 credits, a lap time of 154.522. So on this one, assists, we've got traction control on 0, counter steer we're running off, and ABS we had on weak. And weak actually felt a lot better than default on this one, so definitely recommend weak to get the extra bit of rotation. So on to lap itself, we're using P1 in the world as the Ghost as a reference. Very difficult one around Catalonia. The track I don't really like at all, but we'll see what we can do to get these credits. First braking point, we're looking at the 100 board on the left hand side. As soon as we get level with that, we're hitting the brakes, and we're going to come down into second gear and take quite a light apex on this one, but we want to accelerate into third gear. We're on this left hander, we have a little bit of a lift off the throttle there because the back end can get a little bit loose. So coming on this right hander, the orange paint in the barrier there, what we're going to do, we're going to come down to third gear. Not any brake, just come down to third gear. And as soon as we come around the corner, you can see the other orange barrier in the distance. It's kind of a reference where we hit the accelerator and hit full throttle. So what you don't want to get on the throttle too early because you will drift wide and lose a bit of time. Come to the next corner, difficult one. Not really a decent braking point. We're going to use the gantry above as the braking point. We want to brake in before you get under there. So before you get to that shadow on the ground. Go down to second gear, trying to hook the inside of this corner for as long as you can. Again, don't accelerate too early and run too wide. Better to stay tighter on this line. For this one, again, a difficult braking zone. We're going to use the trees as a bit of a reference there. So when these come out of shot, that's when we're going to hit the brakes. And we're going to come down to second gear. Try to brake in a little bit. Took a little bit too much curb on the inside there. So we're going to try and avoid that. But use all the curb on the exit. Come to this kind of left-right little flick. Start of the curb, we're using it as a braking reference. Let's come to that curb. We're going to come down to second gear just to get that extra bit of rotation. Accelerate back into third. And for this exit, as you can see there, the edge of the red and white curbing is track limits. So take as much of that as possible to get the minimum speed up. This one, again, we're looking for the edge of the curb as a reference and actually turning and braking point. You tap the brakes, only a slight tap, maybe about 15-20% brake, just to get the front pointed in and accelerate. Again, use all that curb on the exit as well. Come to this tight hairpin, difficult one to get right. Where there's two braking references there, so where the kind of fence panel sticks out and the 100 board in the distance, you're going to brake in the middle of those two. So definitely before you get to that 100 board. Brake down into first gear, back end might come out a little bit there, but that's not a bad thing, extra bit of rotation. Come to second, take all this curb on the left hand side, and as the car kind of straightens up, just tap the brakes about 50% again, and use the car's downforce to get you around the corner. So hold it in second gear, but be careful on the throttle. This right hander, I mean, we'll pause it here, but there's no real brake reference at all, so I'm going to do this one just by eye, but we hit the brakes. We come down to second gear, accelerate into third, a bit more stable. But then we use the shadow on the ground as our next braking point, and this is the most difficult corner on this track and the most annoying corner. So come down to first gear, and you want to get your wheels kind of either side of this red curbing if possible. It's quite tricky to do and quite frustrating as well, but when you get it right, hold it in second gear. Do the same for this corner, so get both wheels either side of the red curbing. Then accelerate out into second gear, up into third. Last corner, absolutely flat out. And that is a lap. So we come across the line for 144.940. The best lap of the session. And at the time put us P40 in the world. But I'm not going to bother to try and improve that. There's a lot more time in that. Especially that chicane, I lost a lot of time. But it's a track that I cannot stand, if I'm honest. Can't stand Catalonia, and that last chicane is an absolute Mickey Mouse chicane and an absolute nightmare in this car, so but it's good enough for gold. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at the chase cam to show you the lap. A bit more perspective of the lines you can take and how much more curb you can take as well. So come to the first corner, down to second, straight up into third, accelerating, slight little lift on that left-hander, bring the car to the left-hand side. But that one, we're just coming down to third just to get the extra bit of rotation in that corner, straight back into fourth, but again, don't drift too wide. You lose a lot of time drifting too wide in that corner. So brake before you get under that bridge. Turn to second, try and hug the inside of that line if you can. So that happens to third gear. Again, don't drift wide, avoid that. As those trees go out of shot, coming down to second gear, turn in, took a bit too much curve on the inside there, so I had to delay getting the throttle. Come to this little left-right flick, difficult one to get right. Brake at the start of the curve, go down to second. Again, you want to avoid going too much on the inside of that corner because you'll end up losing the car. A little tap of the brake as you come to the edge of that curve to get that front end pointed in. Use all the track on the exit, almost exceeding track limits, but just managed to get away with that one. Then it's back straight, in between the 100 board and the bit where the fence sticks out. Hit the brakes, go down to first gear. Take all the curve on the left hand side. Little tap of the brake at the car's momentum take around this corner. And into possibly the worst combination of corners, or one of the worst combinations of corners in this game. I just can't stand it. Absolute nightmare. Look at these curbs. It's such a lottery. And trust me, when you have a go, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's such a lottery in that last chicane. You can have such a good lap up to that chicane, and then it's game over. So overall, it's not a bad time trial. I think it's fairly easy, I would say. It's not too difficult. I mean, if you're struggling with the back end of this car, you can always use a bit of counter steer to help you. But it's not too bad, I think, and also give that last chicane a bit of a wide berth. So we take the inside on the left-hander at the end of the chicane and really mount the curb. But you can completely avoid the curbs if you want, and you can still get a decent time. When you're pushing to get fastest lap, it is the best thing to do, but again, it is, like I said, a complete lottery. Sometimes you get it right, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably get it wrong. So let me know what you guys think. If this does help you, let me know, like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to do a lot more of these time trials for your 2 million credits, also time trials for daily races, and also involved in the RTR League racing as well. We've got a couple of rounds left of the championship, which currently we're leading, but there's not much in it at all. So as per usual, we'll leave you the rest of the replay, and I'll see you all on the next one. Laters.